Rep and the other leaders here and I are happy to answer any questions from the media if you have.
I was going to wait till you finish with this event, and then I have something off topic.
Anything else on this? No? Okay, go ahead.
I have a question from Lauren Make from NBC 10. You sent a message overnight about something that happened at Goldie's Restaurant in Center City. Mm-hmm. How did you learn about that incident, and what's your message today? Is your administration taking action as a result?
Look, I heard from many constituents. I heard, of course, from my chief of staff and through law enforcement sources about the mob that gathered outside Goldie's Restaurant in Philadelphia last night. I think it's important to note that peaceful protest is a hallmark of our democracy, a democracy that was born right in the city of Philadelphia, just a few blocks from where that mob gathered last night. What we saw last night was not peaceful protest. What we saw last night, in my opinion, was blatant anti-Semitism. This was beyond, peacefully protesting some policy difference in the Middle East. The purposeful gathering of a mob outside of a restaurant simply because it is owned by a Jewish person, well, that's anti-Semitism, plain and simple. It really harkens back to a dark time in our history. It evokes memories of Kristallnacht in 1930s Germany, and it has no place here in this nation or on the streets of Philadelphia. I've been in touch with Mike Solomonov, the chef of Goldie and many other restaurants, to make sure that he and his staff know that we are here for them and lifting them up. I've been in touch through the Pennsylvania State Police with the Philadelphia Police Department. And I think it is important that we acknowledge we've got some short-term challenges and some long-term challenges as well. Over the short term, I think it's critically important that those who deface property, as was done in Philadelphia last night, those who break the law should be arrested and they should be prosecuted. And that needs to happen. I think over the long term, we also have challenges in this country when it comes to education and making sure that people remember our history. History that's not too long ago, again in 1930s Germany and in that era. It is very important that people understand that history. We should have a spirited debate and dialogue peacefully and respectfully about what's happening in the Middle East. I don't want to rob anyone of the ability to do that peacefully. But when it crosses a line and becomes blatant anti-Semitism, it's critically important that we all speak up. Everyone, those in elected office and those who are in the community. There should be no place for this in our city, and there should be no place for this in our Commonwealth. And I'll continue to speak out and call it out where I see it.
I have one more question. What has your administration been hearing about incidents of anti-Semitism, intimidation, or other concerning incidents since October 7th?
Well, we've seen a rise in anti-Semitism. We've seen a rise in Islamophobia, unfortunately, since October 7th. And I'm going to continue to call it out where I see it, whether it's on the steps of our state capitol, as it was just a few weeks ago when there was an act of Islamophobia, or whether last night in Philadelphia when it was a clear and blatant act of anti-Semitism. I think it's important for our police officers, where they can, to make the arrests, and I think it's critically important that our prosecutors explore using our hate crimes law, our ethnic intimidation laws, where appropriate. We should not tolerate this. If left unchecked, it leads to more violence. It leads to people being unsafe in their communities. I speak oftentimes about the need to both be safe and feel safe in our communities. That's true when it comes to the impact of gun violence, and it's true when it comes to the impact of acts of ethnic intimidation and hate speech in our communities. And we've got to all stand firm together against that. Thank you all very much.